This is the Pesky Report.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode number 2 of the Pesky Report. Today with me, I have Zack and Brian. Obviously, I'm Brad, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Boston Red Sox. We're actually going to mention a couple other ex-players of the team. We're going to talk about a little bit about Brock Holt, Andrew Benintendi. We're going to end up talking about Jackie Bradley Jr., and then we're going to end the show by talking about the lineup that we think Core is going to go with for the 2021 season. So before we get into all of that, how are we doing tonight, guys?
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited. 1 week away. I can feel it in my blood.
We are actually technically less than a week away because the game on opening day starts at 2:00. It is now 8:00 on Thursday. So I have been waiting all day to say it's less than a week away.
I'm
so excited
for the 14th, so I'm pretty happy about that.
You've got what?
Red Sox tickets for April 14th, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, nice, man. Whereabouts are you going to be sitting?
First base side, it's all I know. My brother got him, so we'll see. I don't care.
Right. I was debating on picking up some tickets and whatnot, but I'm going to wait a little bit. I have money still sitting in probably John Henry's pocket right now from 2020. I purchased 2 tickets for the very last game of the season. And, obviously that didn't happen. So I'll see what happens. I also have 4 tickets to Chicago Cubs from last year tied up. So I might either get my money back or I don't know. So let's just get right into this. Earlier today, actually going on right now, the Red Sox are facing the Minnesota Twins. And we had Martin Perez on the mound. So today was Perez Day. I love Martin Perez. What do you guys feel about Perez?
So I really like Perez, and I like him for what he is. I think if you watch this team at all, he's not going out there to be the one. He's an inning eater. He's going to try and get to that 200 mark, eclipse that mark. And I just love the energy that he brings. Like we were talking about it before, the fact that he does the Perez Day stuff, the fact that he interacts with the fans so much. There are players that interact with the fans, but like what he does, I think takes it to another level. And a lot of people like that and enjoy that. And it makes it easy to root for that guy on the mound.
Right. I actually saw earlier today after he had posted about Perez Day, he said he has this thing going on where like you can make a meme or I think it's a GIF.
Yeah.
And somebody made the Geico Hump Day camel thing, and it says, "What day is it?" And the girl's like, "It's Perez Day," and it's like in a different voice. She goes, "It's Perez Day," and it's really funny. So how about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I agree with Zach. I like the how he eats innings. Totally 2 different pitches with him, and if you compare him to Tim Wakefield, but as far as eating innings, Wakefield was always good for that. And again, I like how he interacts as well, and just a good guy. He's not gonna do anything flashy. He's gonna give you what he gives you, and he's gonna tell you what to expect, and that's what you expect, and you live with it, and that's just who he is.
Right. And one thing that Eckersley was actually talking about tonight is the fact that him and Vasquez can't get on the same page most of the time. And that's a little concerning with me because, Vasquez being the number 1 catcher, he's our starting catcher. And you don't really want to hear that, Chris Sale doesn't like throwing to Vasquez. It's proven fact. He would rather pitch to, I believe it was Sandy. He'd rather pitch to Sandy Leon. He was doing. They had always said that there was not going to be a personal catcher, but when Sandy was around, Sandy was catching for Sale. Perez, I don't know. I think that him and Vasquez have to get on the same page because, I don't know what the deal is with Vasquez. Pitchers seem to pitch better with the other catchers. Like Eovaldi pitched better with Plawecki last year. So didn't Martin Perez. But myself, personally, I love Martin Perez. And one of the reasons why I enjoy Martin Perez is because of something he did last year. And on my birthday, it was Perez Day. And he went out and he faced the Yankees. And he basically shut them out. And then, Matt Barnes came in and blew it. But the entire game, Perez pitched. The Yankees didn't score. And then 12 o'clock the next morning, it was okay because, Perez Day was perfectly fine. And then he sent me a tweet and he was like, happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry we didn't win. And I'm like, that's a cool dude. So like he's that's something I'm gonna remember, a 37-year-old like douchebag sitting in his living room watching the game and getting a tweet from Martin Perez, So today he had a pretty bad outing. I don't know if you guys watched the game tonight, but he gave up 5 runs. I think he only pitched like 4 innings. He had like 80 something. He had 80 something pitches within the 70 something pitches within like the 3rd or the 4th inning. So I know for sure he wasn't pitching late into the inning, into the game. You had a couple blunders. You had the sun was was something that affected one of the plays. It was a pop up, like a bloop, basically over to first. Bobby Dahlbach couldn't find it. Michael Chavis ran over to go grab it. He couldn't really see it because of the sun. It popped out of his glove, and I believe that was a Nelson Cruz bloop. And then there was another play where Raphael Devers booted the ball. He went to go dive for the ball, and it hit off of his spike. So I don't know. He actually had 2 decent innings for his last 2 innings, and it is what it is. But with that being said, is this something that you think that we need to worry about?
I don't really think so. I think, honestly, what you just said kind of describes Perez and what we expect from his outings. Like, it is what it is. Like, you're going to have days where he goes out there and he spins 6, lets up 2, strikes out like 8, and it's fun. And you're going to have the days where he gets through like 3 1/3 with 6 earned and there's 2 men left on base. And like, you take the highs with the lows, and you love the fact that he's going to eat those innings. But like, I'm not one that looks into spring training stats too much, but I think that's exactly what we'll get from him. It's going to be a lot of highs and some pretty lows, but I like the guy. So
another thing too is I'm looking at the stats right now, and I don't know if it's something you really look into where it's spring training, but it says he gave up 5 runs and none of them were earned.
Yeah.
So, I mean, without seeing the game, how much of that was his fault? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously.
So the bloop wasn't his fault. The boot wasn't his fault. There was a couple times where the ump was squeezing him. He definitely had a pitch where it would have been a strikeout, and the ump called it a ball. It was like right on the corner, and yeah, it was a really bad luck day for Perez. I don't believe, like you said, 5. He gave up 5. All of them were unearned. I mean, I don't know if they're all it really said that they're all unearned.
Yeah, well, it says that, but he let up a home run to Donaldson. So
yeah,
I was
going to say that's
baseball stats. So I'm wondering if there was an error made with 2 outs and he should have been out of the inning. I think anything after that is unearned because he should have been out of the inning with that error. I think that's how the scoring goes. I'm not positive, but I'm seeing a home run too, but none of them are earned. So I'm wondering if that is the case.
Yeah, because that home run was a blast. That was completely out of the park.
Yeah, making it rain.
The bringer of rain.
It was with 2 outs though. I'm looking at the video now. So
yeah, so I'm wondering if there's an error that he should have got him out of the inning. So therefore, anything after that
could have been the Raffy boot, and which actually that's something that we could end up actually talking about. Raphael Devers. So earlier today, it was reported, during one of the press conferences, and I think it was through a translator. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was at work. But Raphael Devers said that he had not had a chance, him and the Red Sox have not talked about an extension. I know a lot of people out there right now that are a little upset because of the fact that the Sox are not talking to him. I believe he's under control for 2 more years. So, I mean, talking to him right now really wouldn't make sense to me. What do you guys think? Like, do you think that the Sox should start thinking about extending Devers now, or wait and see if his defense gets a little bit better?
I'm kind of skeptical on the timing of it too. If I'm a player, I don't know how much I want to talk about contract during the season versus I don't know. That's how my mind works. But yeah, I think you wait till because I mean the bat's there. We know that. I mean that's
right.
But the defense is kind of up and down, and I think it just needs to get to more of a consistent level. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think if it's just about league average, I'll even take a little bit below league average as a glove on the third base side. I think his hit is the big plus tool. But I think, waiting till this offseason is probably the right move because he'll be ARB 2 eligible next year, then ARB 3. So there's still a little bit of time, but I hate the arbitration process, and especially with going into the possible work strike next year. We don't know what that's going to look like. There's a lot of things that could go into that contract extension, but I love Devers. I like watching him play. I would like to see him on here for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's been many people out there that talked about, I've been one of them, that says that if Devers can't get his act together defensively, I understand he's young. And other players have made, significant errors when they were young as well. But, there comes a point in time where like the errors are costing you, like the one tonight, I wouldn't really like blame it on Devers so much. I mean, it was booted, but the way that he went to dive for the ball just happened to hit his foot before he when he dove. So you'd have to see it to understand what I'm talking about, because it was a weird dive. He kind of like dove backwards and his right cleat hit the ball. So, but I think with Cora back, I think we'll get a better defensive Raffy.
Yep.
And that was, you could tell last year he was not having it with Renicky. He wanted to, but there was no connection. So another interesting thing out there, you've got ex-members of the Red Sox that everybody loves to talk about, like why we didn't sign them, this, that, and the other thing. Over the offseason, Red Sox fan favorite Brock Holt signed a minor league contract with the Texas Rangers, and it was just announced that he had made the opening day lineup. Did you guys end up reading about that?
I did. I saw a little bit of it. And I know originally he actually chose the Rangers because there were a couple teams that offered him contracts, some with more money. And he chose the Rangers specifically because he wanted to make a starting roster. So I'm glad to hear that for him.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go anywhere and make a starting roster, I mean, you got the Rangers, you've got the Orioles, you've got, I mean, he already was on the Nats, he was on the Brewers, he got DFA'd. What other team would he have been able to? The Mariners, maybe?
Yeah, well, no, because Kyle Seager has that spot on the Mariners, so he can't even make the Mariners.
So, yeah, that's the issue. It's, I know too many people had complained about the fact that the Red Sox didn't sign Holt. There wasn't even, I don't even think there was a phone call to Brock Holt, and a lot of people were upset about that. And then he went to the Brewers, he got DFA'd, and that alone right there just showed me that, hey, the Red Sox made the right choice. I don't think they made the right choice picking Peraza. I think that was a bad choice, and then Holt going to the Nats. So what are your thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm just I'm glad for him, and you're right. Going to a team like Texas to make the roster spot is smart, because I think he had this week to opt out of it, right? How's that? Yeah, before opening day. So but it worked out for him. Part of the reason why I probably could never be a coach at the major league level or a GM is I pay a lot of attention to what they do off the field as well, like what he did with the Jimmy Fund, and he's just a fan favorite. And I sometimes lose track of what goes on the field, and that's just the way my mind works. But
I believe him and Lakin are actually still a part of the Jimmy Fund, that whole thing.
Yeah, good.
So I mean, that's good to. I believe they actually still live in the Boston area. I'm not 100% sure. I think they bought a house up there. Also, I didn't know that he went to the Texas Rangers because he wanted to make a starting roster. I thought he went to the Texas Rangers because I believe he's from Texas, correct?
Yeah, that did have a little bit to do with it. But what I read was he turned down more money because he wanted to play.
Well, of course, Yeah, the other team that he could have gone to is the Pirates.
Yeah, he's from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so, good luck to Brock Holt. You're no longer a Red Sox. It is what it is.
I actually thought he was older than 32. I didn't realize he was only 32. I thought he was older than that.
Really? I thought he was a little older. One of the things that he's going to be noticed for is the cycle and the ALDS against the New York Yankees, which I don't care what anybody says. That was great and everything, but I mean, do we really give you the credit for it because you hit it off of a possession player?
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, how much of that do we actually give you the credit? I mean, I love Brock Holt. I thought he was a great player. He had a great attitude. I remember I brought my dad to a doubleheader. It was the Red Sox versus the Tampa Bay Rays. I will never go to another doubleheader in my life. That was just way too long. But Brock Holt was playing right field, and I was out in right field in the bleachers. And every time Brock Holt, a play would happen, no matter if it was to Brock or not, when he ran, I'd be like, yeah, Brock, there you go, buddy. Good job, buddy. Good way to go, Brock. And people around me are like, what did Brock do? Did I miss something? So I like Brock Holt. He's good people, whatever. JBJ, a lot of people were upset with the fact that that Bloom didn't sign him or re-sign him back to the Boston Red Sox. So do you guys believe that the glove is better than the bat and we should have went for him? Or do you think that the glove is just a little too flashy and we did the right thing?
So I think he does not make sense for this team right now. I think the glove does outweigh the troubles of the bat by a lot. I really, really do believe that. But he makes sense for a team that is trying to win now. So I don't even know if the Brewers make sense for him, to be honest. But he didn't make sense in this outfield anymore. With Duran coming up in the next year, 2 years, Verdugo being there, Renfroe being there, Cordero being it was a logjam. There was going to be a logjam that was created, and it didn't make sense to have him here. I'm happy that he's in Milwaukee. He'll get playing time with Yelich and Lorenzo Cain. That'll be a fun outfield to watch. I love Jackie, but I was not upset that he didn't come back, not only for us, but for him too. I don't think playing time would have happened here in the long run for him. I just don't think it would have made sense.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was, again, I agree with the glove aspect of it as well. But it just seemed like when he slumped bad. And it just seemed like he came up in the critical situations and it just didn't produce. Then all of a sudden there'd be a month where he'd be on fire and it's like, all right, here he goes. Then he'd go right back down again. So
you know who he kind of reminded me of? It's now that you're saying that, Stephen Drew.
Yeah.
I remember when Stephen Drew back in 2013, especially during the playoff runs, the Red Sox would be down like a couple runs or whatever. Stephen Drew would be up at a crucial moment and he'd strike out. And then the Red Sox would be up 8-0 or whatever. And then he'd crack a 3-run home run. It's like, thanks, guy. Like, we didn't need it now. We needed that like this other game. You know, that Bradley Jr., you know, when he was hot, he was hot. The glove was the glove a little flashy? Maybe. You know, he could have made some of those plays without doing the dives and the jumps and stuff like that. Maybe. But I mean, he saves runs out in the outfield. And do I think that the Red Sox made the right choice? Absolutely. I love Bradley Jr. Simply, like when he came up, I believe he came up in 2013. And when I found out about this guy, I was like, oh, his last name is Bradley? That's my first name. So I automatically loved him. He was actually one of the. I went to Fenway. I brought a Bradley Jr. Shirt, and I wore that thing proudly. So
yeah, he's a good guy. We one of my friends, we were in Boston. He was actually going to, I forget what hospital it was in Boston, but it was a cancer checkup, and he found out he was in remission and things were going good. And coincidentally enough, we had walked outside. And Jackie Bradley had an appointment with his son. His wife was there. And we just kind of chatted with him for a minute. And he's like, oh, you guys are going to the ballpark? He goes, you know, unfortunately, this is a game where a lot of my family's here, or else I give you guys the tickets, because we told him the story about my friend with cancer and everything. So I thought he was a great guy. Again, back to the whole away from the field stuff that I don't
right.
like.
Nah, I got you. So back to Holt real quick. I just wanted to bring this up. I remember the last game that he played in Boston as a member of the Red Sox. He literally sat outside the park and like gave away all of his gear. You know, like you don't see too many people that'll. He was a fan favorite for a reason. You know, Jackie Bradley Jr. The other thing with him, which I thought was pretty cool. He rode a scooter or rode a scooter to work every morning. You know, like he lived like right near the
park.
Yeah, right near the park. Sorry, my computer's being stupid.
It's like during spring training, Castiglione rides his pedal bike to the park from where he lives.
Well, he does it. He doesn't do it to JetBlue Park.
No, it's the
he does it to the Twins. He won't do it, yeah, because he has to cross too many streets. I heard this story like so many times. Here in oh man, I love Castiglione. Man, you know, I got a question for you guys. So today, like I've noticed this over the years, O'Brien like consistently makes mistakes on stats. I know I'm not fantastic with stats, you know, but I'm not getting paid to do, you know, keep stats and whatnot. Earlier today, he's talking about Sano from the Minnesota Twins, and he's like, oh, he you know, last year he hit 213, and then the stat comes up across the screen. It says, you know, he hit 214. It's like, guy, what's going on here? Like, you have this stuff. Like, what's going on? What are your guys' thoughts on O'Brien? Like, me personally, I'm a Sorcello.
Oh, me too, big time. I loved how him and Remy would go back and forth, and late in the games when the games were out of hand, they talked about everything and anything but baseball.
Fishing.
Yeah, I mean, it was just do
you guys remember the pizza incident?
Oh, that was
that's probably one of my favorites. Like, oh, you're out of here.
The pizza incident. Like, one time someone got caught like grabbing their girlfriend, and they were just silent for like a minute and a half. Then Orsillo comes back on, cracking up, trying to call. They have some great moments.
I'm a Sorcello. Every once in a while, I'll turn on a Padres game just to hear his voice, because I grew up with Orsillo, you know, over the years. Not a ginormous fan of O'Brien. I do like the rest of the guys. You know, I like Eck. Of course, I like Remy. I think Remy with O'Brien can be a little overbearing sometimes.
How about back in the booth, though, Nesson? They got the Eucalypts now, Papelbon, Ellis Burks.
Mo Vaughn,
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, it's like Mo Vaughn, man. That was like Poppy before Poppy was Poppy. You know, Euclid. You know, I don't really fault him. He was one of those players that ended up going to the Yankees that I didn't hate. But I was shocked when they mentioned that Uke was going to be in the booth because of the fact that I thought he was working for the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm happy he's going to be in the booth.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of stuff to come up, like story-wise going on, and I'm happy about that one.
He got traded in the Bobby Valentine era, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, him, Pedroia, and Bobby did not get along.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. There was only one thing that Bobby did right that I agreed with. And that was he did not want to transition Daniel Bard into a starter. And who was it? Lucchino, I believe it was telling them, we're going to make him a starter, and that was like the downfall of Daniel Bard. That is the only thing that I can remember that Bobby Valentine did that I actually enjoyed. So have you guys been like keeping tabs on Andrew Benintendi?
Not good.
Nope. So everybody was a little concerned, about Franchy Cordero. Yeah, and his name's Franchy, not Frenchy, not French. A lot of people were concerned about him because couldn't stay healthy. He's a strikeout guy, but everything that I've been seeing from Franchy so far has been pretty good. He's been making contact with the ball. He's been putting the ball in play. He might not be getting on base every time, but he's hitting the ball. He's not striking out. Andrew Benintendi is batting in the low 200s. He's got a batting average in the low 200s. He's already been pulled from the lineup because he had a sore back. And so, did the Red Sox make the correct choice? Did they make the right choice by trading him and getting 5 players and 2 of who we still have yet to get?
I think the jury's going to be out on that one for a while. Yep. I think the big thing with Franchy that I'm going to be like looking at is his base running. I think Benintendi during the Red Sox, there were so many times that he just got caught out on the base path doing really weird, and it was so odd to watch because his baseball IQ, it's there, but it was just so bad watching him run the bases. So I do want to see that, but again, I'm not a big spring training stats guy. The injury is obviously a little bit concerning if his back is going to be hurting like that. But I did read a piece, I think it was either today or yesterday, about how Cora remarked on the fact that.
Hold on. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, the base running is big for me too, especially when the ball was in left field and he's coming around second base. The play's right in front of you. You can see what's going on. How are you still making that mistake?
Right. You're a big league player, and it's not like you're a rookie anymore. You're actually, you've been here for a few years. You've been doing this for a little while. Right. Get your act together. So we'll get to what you were just about to bring up, Zach. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
I definitely wanted to bring that up. So I read the report myself where the Cora had said that it wasn't up to like Cora and the training staff that had Benintendi gain that weight, gain muscle and whatnot, bulk up and whatnot. He said that he believes that was an agent situation where he was talking to Benintendi and it's like, hey, if you bulk up, you can start hitting more home runs. And, obviously if you hit more home runs, you're going to be worth more money. So, me personally, it kind of makes a little bit of sense because, you're bulking up, you're going to be a little bit slower. And he looked lost in 2019. And in 2020, he totally looked lost. I believe he only played 19 games, but even still, even in the very little games that he played in 2020, he looked completely lost.
14 games.
Okay, 14. Yeah, I knew it was one of the teens. Sometimes a 4 can look like a 9. It depends on how you're rating it. So you were about to say something about that as well, Zach. So go ahead and continue on that.
Yeah, it's just so it looked like the theory of what Cora was saying was Benintendi wanted his power numbers up because those are the players that are currently getting paid right now, to go yard with the StatCast revolution, the launch angle and everything like that, which is looking like that's what Benintendi wanted to hop on. I don't know. I really hope it doesn't ruin his game, because at Arkansas, like, he was the best pure hitter in the country. Like, that's what his claim was. It's how he was able to get to the MLB so quickly.
Did he skip AAA?
He did completely.
He played AA for like a little bit, and then they were like, "All right, we're calling this kid up."
Yeah, which, I mean, that's so rare to see. Like, I mean, it's a little bit more common today. Like, a lot of these guys are just skipping and coming right up. But Benintendi was like one of the first on that wave. So I don't know. I hope for his sake, like Kansas City, he's able to figure something out that he just couldn't in Boston. But that just seems so weird to me. And like Ryan was alluding to, 2020, like, I couldn't believe how many times he was swinging and dropping to the ground on his knee. Like, it was just so bizarre to watch.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to pull a Devers. Like Devers he's a power hitter, but I mean, like, he's still young too, and he's down to his knees. He's swinging at stuff in the dirt, and he golfs things and whatnot. But that's Devers. That's how he's made his living off of hitting bad pitches. Like, he'll hit a pitch that's around your shins, and he'll knock it out of the park.
Like a Vlad Guerrero, to swing at anything.
Basically. So we wanted to talk about the lineup, and it looks as though that Alex Cora is basically has his lineup so far. Now we know that Kike and Verdugo are going to be 1 and 2. What do we think is going to be for the rest of so far? He has said that Dahlbeck is going to be hitting number 9, which is crazy.
Absolutely, it is.
Like, if that's your number 9 hitter, man, holy crap, is that pitcher in trouble? So, Ryan, we're going to actually start off with you on this one, and let's go with you. Talk about what you think is going to be the lineup and what positions people are going to play mostly throughout the year.
I don't know. I like Bogarts in the 3-hole. We'll see where I haven't been paying attention to the last couple of games because my mind's been elsewhere. So I don't know where he is. He might even be there. And then you got Devers and you got JD, and I Dahlbeck in the 9-hole. I'm like, I almost take away what he's doing hitting home runs. I just think he strikes out too much to be a number 9 hitter. That's a guy you want to get to the set to the top of the order. I don't really get that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, the whole Dahlbeck as the number 9 hitter doesn't really make sense to me. He's more of a power hitter, so you typically want to put your power hitters like next to each other. Remember the Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz era? You had those two going back to back, so that if someone screws up with Manny, they got to face Ortiz, and if they screw up with Manny, they're going to have to leave something for Ortiz. They don't want to walk them both, things like that. I think that Bobby should be right around JD, protecting him. But, I mean, like, you got protection between Devers, you got Xander, but then you got Renfroe. So, like, you got all these power hitters right now. And, another thing, Renfroe has been showing a little bit of speed out the outfield. I don't know if you guys saw the play last night. He was out in right field. He made the play out in the triangle. Did you guys end up seeing that?
I think I saw that. Yeah, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been making a case for being out in the outfield. A lot of people weren't thinking that he's got good defensive skills and whatnot, but they're talking about the possibility of him playing center field, putting Verdugo out in right field, which kind of makes sense at Fenway, because the center field you got the monster out in left, so you're not really going to be able to do anything there. And then, you got the triangle, right field, you got that whole wide field. So you're going to need somebody who's super fast. So put Verdugo out there, right field. He can cover a lot of ground. Say they end up playing another place, you'll put Verdugo in center field. So Ryan, what do you think the lineup's going to look like? We got number 1 and number 2, Kike, Verdugo. Who's your number 3?
I'm going Bogarts. I'm going either Bogarts, Devers, JD, or Bogarts, JD, Devers. Probably JD, Devers if it's my choice.
So Bogarts is number 3?
I like him in the 3 hole.
All right, what about you, Zach?
So before I give my answer, can I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or not, but is it weird that I don't like Kike leading off?
No.
So at first,
is he there by default?
So what I think they're trying to do is right, left. And it kind of makes sense. And I liked Verdugo as the leadoff man last year. I think he earned it. I think he did a great job. And, he ended up batting over 300 at that spot. But I trust what Cora is doing. If Cora is planning on doing right, left, then that's what I'm going to go with. I know it's not going to be right, left all the way through the lineup because you have so many righty batters. But, I mean, you put Gonzalez up there, you got a switch hitter. And I don't know, Kike's actually been showing a little bit of promise as the leadoff hitter during spring. I know spring doesn't count, and you've said that numerous times, Zach, and I agree with you. I agree 100%. Spring training does not count, but you have to go with what you see. And if Kike is doing good as the leadoff guy and he's getting on base for a guy like Alex or Verdugo, then you're in a good spot with those as a 1-2. I mean, you're trading off, you got the Benintendi situation. Betts was a right-handed hitter. He was the leadoff guy. You have Benintendi was a lefty. He was the number 2 guy. He was good at number 2. So now you got Verdugo. So I think that's kind of where they're going with that. I see your point.
Yeah, especially it's just with the way that a lot of MLB lineups construct their lineups today. They want that quote unquote best pure hitter at 2, which I'm not saying Verdugo isn't. Verdugo's a great hitter. I think I like Xander in the 2 spot a lot more than I like Verdugo. But if going with what seems to be the plan with Kike 1, Verdugo 2, I would like to actually see. I think I'm going to agree with Ryan here. I'm going to go Bogarts, JD.
All right, let's go with 3 for right now. We're going to go through the lineup together. All right. So you guys are both going with Bogarts.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with JD. Makes sense. Not to go with you guys. Not to go along with you guys. The reason why I'm going with JD is JD seems to hit a little bit better at the number 3 spot. Not a cleanup guy. I believe that if you're going to have a cleanup guy, out of the 3, JD kind of does make sense. I believe that Bogarts would be a better off in that spot. You've got the protection between you got JD, then you've got Devers behind him, and then I don't know who would end up batting out there after that. But so I got number 3, JD. Who do you guys have at number 4?
I have JD 4.
So you have JD at 4. Zach, who do you have at 4?
JD at 4.
Okay. So obviously we know where I'm going. And number 5, we know who I'm going there. And I'm pretty sure
Devers.
Okay. So we're all in agreement for Devers is number 5.
Yep.
Okay. It seems like they're going to keep him up at the top of the list, at the top of the lineup. But number 5. I think the only thing that I differ from you two is the 3 and the 4, 4 guys. So number 6, who do we got at number 6? Go ahead, Brian.
I'm going to go Christian Vasquez.
Okay.
I am going to go Hunter Renfroe. I want that power behind JD. Or I'm sorry, Raffy.
So I'm going with Renfroe as well. I think also having that little bit of power pop right behind Devers would make sense. So where are we? 7, 6, 6,
7.
Okay, so 7. Let's go 7. Sorry, guys, I'm losing track here. Yeah, Vasquez.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dahlback 7.
Okay.
7. I'm gonna go Vasquez. I like him in that spot.
Okay.
Actually, I think a lot of Vasquez's production last year was from the 7th or 8th spot. Now that you say that, if I remember right.
Yeah, for some reason he did really well in the lower parts of the lineup.
Yeah, he I don't remember exactly what he did, but he was hitting some piss missiles last year.
In the beginning half, yeah.
So I'm gonna go Vazzy as well. You guys heard what happened to him earlier today, correct?
That I did not see.
So he was actually supposed to be the catcher today, and he got scratched because at what was it? It was at training or whatever at a camp. A ball hit him in the face, broke his glasses, and he got a laceration under his eye. So I guess he had a contusion or whatever they said. I believe Bradford posted it up. So number 8.
I think by default I have to go Renfroe 8.
8. This is where I'm gonna put. I'm torn about it, but I want to put Franchy on the base at 8. I'm gonna put him in the 8 spot.
Okay, so
and there's a reason why once I say who I'm batting 9.
Depends. Are we putting Kike out in the outfield, or are we putting him in the infield? So that would
I have him slotted at second base, going by where he's been starting in the spring training games. I know he's played center field like once in the last couple of 5 games, but all the other ones I see him second base, second base, second base.
Yeah, because I was thinking about possibly Arroyo there. Yeah, I think. Nah, you know what? I might go Dahlbeck. Yeah, that one's kind of hard.
It is.
Which my number 9 is, I'm just going to say it now. It's going to be Franchy. What about you, Ryan?
I think my 9 is Franchy too. Yeah, that's one I got left. I don't know. I just think batting low in the order like that, they'll maybe let him swing for the fences a little bit, get some production. Not your typical number 9 hitter doing that, but I just kind of got a feeling. So.
Well, that could possibly be the reason why they're talking about putting Dahlbeck in the number 9. So
yeah, and that's kind of where that's why I'm putting Dahlbeck at 9 in this too. Is one that's kind of where they're leading there, and then also I think it'd just be interesting to put Franchy on base with Dahlbeck up. I think maybe with the speed that he carries, it makes the pitcher slip up just a little, maybe one little mistake when he's like trying to check back to see what's going on at first, then going to I'm not saying it's going to result in a bunch, but maybe 1 or 2 times during the season, it results in something where Dahlbeck's able to take advantage of it.
Yeah. I've always thought that a number 9 hitter is basically you want to have somebody like a leadoff hitter as your number 9 hitter as well. Because you want somebody on base when you go through the lineup the first time, you're probably going to end up starting somewhere outside of the number 9. Number 9 is going to be on base. They're going to be up or whatever. You want them to get on base so that your best hitters can get them home. So I don't know if Dahlbeck actually makes sense to me, but the Red Sox are obviously going in a different direction, doing things a lot different than they normally do. We got these Swiss Army knives. You got Gonzalez. That's one guy that we haven't talked about really. You got Kike Hernandez, who's going to be playing multiple positions. You've got maybe Chavis. I think he's going to end up down in Worcester. Arroyo could play a little bit of the infield, second and short. So it's going to be an interesting season nonetheless. And, I'm pretty pumped. We got less than a week left.
I talk about it on my sports show I do as well, and I've said it to you guys a few times. I feel like I repeat myself every day, but I just think this Red Sox team is going to be a lot better than people think they're going to be.
Absolutely. I've talked to, I'm part of like groups on Facebook that have to do with the Red Sox. I'm an admin for a couple of the groups as well. And there's a lot of people that are just, crapping all over the Red Sox, crapping all over Bloom, what he's doing. Cora shouldn't be there, yada, yada, yada. He's a cheater. Why do we go and get Marwin Gonzalez? And then he knocks 2 home runs, one on each side of the plate. Granted, it's spring training. Why did we go and get Renfroe? His defense is horrible. Then he shows up and starts acting like he's a Gold Glover, and he starts knocking out bombs. People who are like, oh, why is Jaron Duran starting the year off in Worcester? He should be our center fielder, and then he drops a ball. People don't understand like all the stuff that's going on with Cora, Bloom in the front office. This is why they do the things they do. And, Bloom right now is trying to make it so that we have a sustainable team. And, Bloom might not be transparent, kind of like, like Dombrowski was. Like if you're, when Dombrowski said that he was going to do something, he went and did it. But Bloom, he doesn't really tell. He does a lot of talking without telling you anything. So we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen this year. Like you said, Brian, I agree 100%. I think this Red Sox team is going to be a lot better than a lot of people seem to, think they're going to be. And, if you guys don't have any, do you guys have anything else that you want to add?
No, I just think I'm really, really excited, and I'm just so excited. Fans are going to be back. We're stepping towards normalcy. Just inject this into my veins.
That's where I am too, because I'm a college baseball coach as well up here in Maine at a community college, and we've been shut down because of the pandemic. So it's like I don't really have that to look forward to right now because it's not going. So just give me the Red Sox, give me Fenway Park, give me this team, and let's go.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was last year. When they said that they were doing the 60 games for the season, I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I don't care. It's 6 games. I'll watch every single game if I have to. The coolest thing, in my opinion, about last year were the games didn't go past like 10 o'clock. So, I mean, that was the games would start at 7:30, which I think the game started at like 7:35 last year. And that was a Sam Kennedy thing. And he had said that it's no longer going to be 7:35. It's going to be 7:05 right away.
Thank God.
Yeah. The 7:35 was ridiculous. I threw off my whole, wait, aren't the Red Sox playing? No, they're not playing. They're not on for another 20 minutes.
And it was the longest 20 minutes to a half hour of the whole day waiting for the game to start.
Yep. So next week, we actually are going to have a lot more of our crew on to talk about the Red Sox. We're actually going to record on Wednesday and have the show out Thursday, which will be opening day. We have a little surprise. Zack has been a part of both episodes. Ryan is one of the hosts that will be coming in on occasion when needed. Brandon last week, who was a part of the show last week, he's also going to come in and fill spots when needed. We have a really cool crew right now. And I'm really excited about bringing all of this to everybody. And I think I speak for everybody when I say we cannot wait for the season to start. So with that said, everybody have a good night.